What does it take to make a great tribute band? We're going to find out from this tribute next on That Tribute Band Show. Hey, and welcome back to That Tribute Band Show. I am your host, Eddie Payne, and I am hanging out with Metallica tribute band Fade to Black, and we're just sitting here going through like all the Google Meet little trinkets that they have, the background and the little faces and stuff. It's kind of crazy. How you guys doing? You guys are from Baltimore, Maryland. What's up, guys?
How's it going?
What's going on, Eddie?
Now, I can't exactly see your names on the screen, so gentleman in the Fade to Black shirt in the yellow background.
Oh yeah, that's me. That's Tim.
Okay, Tim, and then James Hetfield. Who are you?
It's just, my screen says you, but my name is Mark.
Mark. Yeah, it's kind of faded. I can't see it. Okay, and then Zach, you're down there.
I'm also you.
And if everybody could go through what instruments you play, what part you play in the band.
So this is Zach. I bang on the drums. Some people say I play the drums. I just beat the hell out of them. So
I'm Tim. I play bass, and occasionally I attempt to harmonize with Mark on vocals.
I'm Mark. I play rhythm guitar and I sing sometimes.
But otherwise, you're just yelling and screaming, right?
I like to call it barking.
Yeah. As James refers to it as yelling in key, if that's a thing. So how long have you guys been...
I'm Greg. I play lead guitar and
Okay. So you're the Kirk of the band, correct?
Yeah, Kirk, Dave Mustaine, whatever.
So how long have you guys been doing this?
Oh, I knew there'd be hard questions.
Oh, yeah.
I think we just went over 7 years.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Wow,
Yeah,
really?
Kind of lost track when COVID hit. It's like, the world paused for a bit. So we kind of, and sometimes it feels like it's only been 4 years, and then other times, like it's been the 7. So
yeah, I think COVID put a damper on everything. It seems like the crowd count on a lot of shows like decreased by what seems almost half in some places, and some places are still back to normal, I think. But I think overall things just aren't the way they used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, some places just never recovered. We right before COVID, we played. We would routinely go to Kitty Hawk, North Carolina.
Yeah,
that was one of the first places to close.
It was a great venue too.
Yeah, there were others, but that's the first one that came to my mind.
Before COVID, I think that was like our last show, or that was backseat. Yeah,
it was very close to our last show.
No, it was Winchester was the last one.
Yeah.
The back seat.
Yeah, so ironically, they have been able to invest a lot into their venue.
They've expanded. They actually built a huge performance art center like right next to their bar. It's actually pretty fantastic.
Right on.
And it was funny playing that show, I remember, because like everybody knew it was going to come, right? We knew it was going to happen. Because I think everything shut down like that Monday, and we played on Saturday. Does that sound right? It was just like you knew it was going to happen.
And I remember we had a hand sanitizer, which is something we never had before backstage.
I think the bars in Maryland closed like 5 days before we played that show, but Virginia was still safe at the time. So we were like, well, the dominoes might fall after this. So yeah, it was kind of imminent by that point.
Yeah, we actually had my last gig was March 6th, and we actually we were supposed to play a big event in Richmond called Shamrock the Block, and they canceled it like 3 days before. They're like, the city basically shut down. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and then I think during all the shutdowns and stuff, we only really did one show, and it was outdoors.
Yep.
And then so basically we lost a year.
Yeah.
A lot of bands were actually getting into like the virtual thing. They'd set up like there was this one venue in our town down in Hopewell, which you guys will be at probably in October, I believe. The Beacon Theater, they actually did like virtual shows. They didn't allow anybody in, but the bands, and they would stream it live and broadcast it out on the internet for free. And it was a pretty cool thing. They did it for several months, and I know people were just screaming to try to get in there to do it.
That's pretty cool.
So what are some of your guys' influences? Obviously Metallica, Megadeth, probably. Are there any others that really stand out?
Well, for myself, again, this is Zach. Zeppelin. John Bonham's capabilities behind the kit just really inspired me to want to start playing. Of course, you can't say Zeppelin without saying Rush, and I never attempt to play anything by Neil Peart. I just listen to it. I can barely dissect what he's playing in my head, much less trying to do it. But I think those are probably my biggest influences. But interestingly enough, when it comes to Metallica, little bit of the harmonized guitar parts, but really it was a lot of the lyrics in some of their earlier material that really resonated with me. But I won't suck up too much time. I'll pass the mic to everybody.
Okay.
I got into Metallica when I was like 9, so and they were basically the gateway to everything I listened to after that. So the simple answer is my influence is Metallica. As for performing live, or for bass at least, the Jason Newsted live shit era. Can we cuss on your show?
Absolutely. It's not going to be for kids, so.
Fuck yeah. All right. The live shit era, the Black Album tour. That's like what I'm attempting to channel on stage, at least. But my bass doesn't cost $5,000, so maybe one of these days.
For me, obviously Metallica, kind of like Tim, it was kind of my gateway into other things. I remember I just started listening to kind of like mainstream music, when I was like 10, 11, 12, and Fuel had just come out, Reload had just come out in 1997, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then I just, kept listening, going back in time with the albums. Everything just kept getting better and better and better. It just kind of totally blew my mind. And then when Headbangers Ball came back, I got into a lot of other metal bands like Shadows Fall, Killswitch Engage, things like that. But as far as the Metallica era, I try to channel. I really love everything, how it came together with James' voice in the first S&M. That's kind of what I picture myself singing as.
Right.
I'm in the same boat as, I guess, Mark and Tim in a way, in that, there's a lot of bands I listen to, but as far as my journey into heavy music, it starts with Metallica. I've been listening to them since the Black Album came out, because they made like 800 videos that were played on MTV all the time for it. So you kind of couldn't ignore it. But eventually got into like all the big four thrash and, classic metal like Maiden and Priest, just a lot of general stuff. I play original material in a death metal band also. So I moved not that long after I got into, Metallica and stuff to heavier band, like death metal bands like Morbid Angel or Cannibal Corpse and so on and so forth. But I mean, as far as my influences playing Fade to Black live, I don't really know. Like, I mean, I kind of try to, I watched a lot of what Kirk has done over the years, and I kind of try to extrapolate the best from any era I just can find from them, whether it's like a creative liberty he took as recently as 5 years ago that he started doing, or maybe there was a way he did a solo for a song like 35 years ago. I kind of just pick and choose what will just capture them live at their best. So.
Right on. So as far as you guys touring, where exactly do you travel to? Like, do you have like a boundary of like how far you'll go, or do you just try to stay regional, like around Maryland, Delaware, Virginia, North Carolina, things like that?
Well, I think before COVID, our limit was just north of Maine. So where the water's edge of Maine started, and I don't think we went any further south than Miami, again because of the water. But then COVID kind of jostled things a bit, and we've kind of kept to a more regional approach, at least for now. Some of that's waiting to see the true full recovery of COVID.
Right.
Part of that's also just financial inflations of things, which plays into part with what venues are able to pay and willing to pay, and while none of us are doing this for significant financial gain or anything, I think most musicians who do any kind of traveling, their probably first and foremost goal is not to owe money by the end of it. So
right.
So that's kind of where we're at. But when you start taking 4 musicians plus plus others plus all the travel expenses, it adds up quickly. And so we're just kind of sticking around regional for now, seeing how the scene bounces back or expands, and but as far as into the future, who knows?
Cool. This next question is kind of a two-parter. Let's see here. Have you ever met anyone from the band or had any feedback, good or bad, on your tribute band from the band, or have you ever gotten a cease and desist from the band on anything?
I've met someone who's met someone in the band, but they didn't plug us.
Oh.
That's all I got. Oh, and it was Robert Trujillo who we met. So.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say I had a bandmate. I had a bandmate who met Rob Trujillo at an airport one time. So I'm not any closer than you are.
Yeah, I think
it was Chris from.
Yeah, and Mark, I think you came really close to meeting Hetfield at our the Penn State show we went to.
Yeah. I think I grazed the corner of his hand.
You gotta grab on harder next time.
Yeah. As far as the cease and desist order, no, we haven't received it, but I keep checking the mailbox every day. It's coming.
The closest thing we ever got was we were going through a company to get some shirts made, and they said, "You can't print this on a shirt. Metallica owns the trademark." And I said, you can't trademark a title. And the font this is in is an open source font. So, and I had like documentation for all this.
Right.
I sent it to them. They didn't care. They didn't want to incur the wrath of Metallica. So that's the closest to legal issues.
Yep.
So, but we found a better place, so it all worked out.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And they made the shirt that I'm wearing and that Zach's wearing.
Yep.
Which you can acquire at any of our shows.
Or on the internet.
Here's the pitch.
How well received are you guys from the venues and from other Metallica fans?
It depends on the honest answer is it depends on the fan and the set. So because we love all Metallica, so with some notable exceptions, and no matter what, there's always the guy there who goes, I only like the songs up until X year, and that X year always changes. It's never consistent.
Yeah.
And unless we played Kill 'Em all the way through, someone's going to be annoyed. But those people are very few and far between.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as the venues, I think with us and we come to every show almost zero ego free, right? So we don't have egos. We treat every venue as if they're a partner with us. We certainly don't walk into the door, demanding things. I mean, we're pretty self-aware that we are playing Metallica's material. We are not Metallica, right? So we are absolute fans of Metallica. We love their music. We enjoy playing. We enjoy performing live. That's why we do it. There's a practical matter of Metallica only tours so often, and fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, their ticket prices for their shows, for some are affordable, but for other people it's astronomical and beyond their reach. So we kind of provide that gap, if you will, where you can still hear Metallica's material live. You're not stuck in listening to a CD or digital media or whatever. So I think the venues respect our approach, and certainly they respect our our character and personality. We live up to our word, and again, we're not demanding. We're respectful of their business. It's a show is not just about us. In fact, it's the least about us. It's about the venue, and it's about the people who are paying to come there. So I think we have a great response from the venues. As far as any kind of criticism, I think Tim really hit the nail on the head. The only thing that I see or hear pretty rarely, but you get the keyboard warriors out there that for whatever reason just feel the need to be negative no matter what, and the drummer doesn't look like Lars. Well, no shit. we're not trying to impersonate Metallica, right? We are playing their material, so people have an expectation that if they're going to hear the song Fade to Black, it's going to sound like Fade to Black, as best as we can.
Right.
But as far as trying to mimic the appearance, Lars is just going to have to get a lot more tattoos. So in any case, that's what I wanted to offer. Mark, Greg, I don't know if you have.
We're trying to get Zach to wear the skimpy neon gym shorts.
And a trucker hat.
And the trucker hat. We're getting there. Maybe that's going to be a 2024 goal. But yeah, like Zach kind of hit it on the head. Like, we're tributing the music to Metallica. We are I consider myself ambassadors, if you will, for Metallica. Just kind of spreading, their music, their energy, trying to capture that live essence. But we're not pretending we're Metallica by any means.
Right.
We're live.
Yeah, or claiming that we're identical and sound exactly like they do on a recording or whatever. It's like
how about you stay home and listen to the recording? Why would you go out and
it's like
listen to the recording?
Metallica to me is a live band, right? Like albums are amazing, they're incredible, but I feel like if we're mimicking something, we kind of capture that live energy, that live sound, that live production, all of that. That's kind of what we cover.
Yeah, and our tickets are a 20th of the price of Metallica, so hopefully we're a 20th as good as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely Metallica's definitely a live band. I actually got a chance to see them. I've only seen them once in my life, and it was on Rob's first tour with them. They toured right after Saint Anger was released.
Summer Sanitarium?
That was 2004.
Yeah.
Summer Sanitarium was 2000, I believe.
No, there was 2 summer sanitariums. Mine was
okay. So I went to the first one.
Yeah.
2004 with Rob. It was Norfolk Scope. Godsmack opened. It was.
Yeah.
It was April 26, 2004, something like that.
Yep.
It was back when they had they were offering all their live shows on that Live Metallica site, and you could pay for them and download them. I actually downloaded that show and put it on CD. It was
I have a few of them.
Oh, yeah. It's like my thing I get. I don't get souvenirs from the show except I always buy the CD that comes in the mail.
Well, yeah, and to that end, Zach also tries to put together like a night, we recently played with the Godsmack tribute because Godsmack and Metallica have played together, and we've done similar stuff. That's the first one that comes to mind because it was like last week.
That's that was Tribal Sun, correct?
Yes,
that's correct.
Yeah, I got to get those guys on here too.
Nice guys, very nice guys.
Tell them I said hi.
Will do. So have you guys ever sold out a venue, and what's the biggest crowd you think you've played to?
All right, what's the Ocean City Bike Week?
Well, so as far as selling out a venue, yes. I'm struggling to remember which one it was. It may have been the venue in Delaware.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we did.
As far as largest attendance, we don't have a specific hard count number because it was open to basically anybody that could walk in and squeeze in. But I think the estimated number was right around 6,500.
Oh, that's nice. That's a decent crowd.
Yeah.
Was that an outdoor venue or indoor venue?
It was outdoor.
Oh, yeah.
It was during the Ocean City Bike Week at a phenomenal venue called Wild Bill's.
Gotcha.
And it was their opening night, and surprisingly, it was on a Thursday, which was the first night of the Bike Week. And place was just insane. People are standing out in the middle of the street, blocking cars just so that they could watch the show. It was pretty awesome.
That's always like a dream come true playing there because you're like a block away from the beach. You know what I mean? It's just such a cool venue to play.
Awesome. So there's a lot of tribute bands out there, and I mean a ton. And there's a lot of Metallica tribute bands. Some venues will not book, like, for example, a Metallica tribute if they already work with one. Do you guys ever come across situations where you can't book a venue because the owner or the talent buyer says we're working strictly with this band, you guys cannot book here?
Short answer is yes. It's actually been few, and the reason being is we spend a lot of times kind of scouting venues. What would be the best ones for us to go to. And quite honestly, if I run into a venue as I'm researching and I'm seeing, the same Metallica tribute playing there 2 or 3 times a year, and quite honestly, I don't even bother contacting them because they already, kind of have that market space. And but if I do run across a venue where I see multiple different Metallica tributes, then it's really just a timing game, right? We don't want to go in right in front of one or right after another one. But interestingly enough, there are multiple venues that we play at currently that have told me, and they've lived up to that word, that they will not book another Metallica tribute. And, our response is, well, it's your business. So, you make that decision, but we appreciate that loyalty and we're loyal to them as well. If we play in a venue, we won't play in the same market area. Because again, going back to what I mentioned earlier, we look at the venue as a partner of ours and we want them to look at us as a partner of theirs. And partners don't screw each other by sleeping with their competitors.
Right on. Yeah, that's good. Do you guys have any stage props or production that you use, like backdrops or ramps or anything like that that Metallica would use on stage, or you just pretty much plug your instruments in and go? And just
Well, we're trying to get Greg licensed as a pyrotechnician.
Yeah,
so
he's working on that.
I need a foot switch for that. Yeah. What could possibly go wrong?
We've had plenty of discussions about it, but the most we do right now is if there is a built-in video system in a venue that can be behind us, we have an entire video thing ready to go, and we bring it to every show. And if it's a new venue, we looking around for the projector, the video wall. So
yeah, I mean, we do have stage scrims that if provided the stage is large enough, or the other bands that we're also playing with, it's not going to get in the way of their gear. We'll certainly put those up, and we do have some backdrops. But as far as stage props go, we want to focus our finances, frankly, into the equipment that we use to produce the most important part, which is the sound. All of our equipment is either the signature model of what the individual Metallica artists use, or it's some other kind of high-end gear. So we don't want our stuff to fail on stage, and anybody who's a musician knows that each piece of equipment has its own kind of signature sound. They're just manufactured that way. So we spend a lot of our focus there. We are, without letting out too many secrets, we are working on acquiring some high-tech visual stuff in the future beyond the projection capability that Tim had already mentioned. So hopefully within the next year, we'll be debuting some of that stuff with us as we move around, and being intentionally cryptic, but
awesome.
I think an important piece of that is we kind of want to be invisible to the other band. We don't want Tribal Sun playing on the cover of Master of Puppets, for example. Because we had those white crosses from the cover of that album for a while.
Yeah.
But if it's not like collapsible and hideable,
push to the side.
We try not to do that to the other bands.
Yeah, it's not fair to them. I mean, we've all been there.
Next question. What does it take to make a great tribute band, in your opinion? Is it, the clothes, the moves, the stage presence, instruments, sound? I'm sure all of these come into play, but it just depends on the tribute band. What do you guys think?
I think in general, I would say it's attention to detail.
Yeah.
It's because I've seen bands cover Metallica, and maybe I'm the only one in the room, but I'm going, that bass line's all wrong.
I think we all definitely come having done our homework when we practice or rehearse. And like Tim said, that attention to detail, when we're learning new songs, we'll learn our parts on our own and kind of come together to practice them. But I'll have up 3 or 4 live videos of the same song from different shows just to catch those little intricate things. I think you got to have the right group of people with the right mindset to make it successful. I mean, but that's kind of a given. But
Greg, what are your thoughts?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the original question. It kind of cut off. I'm sorry. I heard the answer, so I can piece it together. Could you repeat it?
Absolutely.
What do you think the question is?
What does it take to make a great tribute band, in your opinion?
I think it can vary from case to case, but I think everyone kind of touched on the sound is the most important thing, I would say, with somebody like Metallica. just kind of to piggyback on what they said, because, we were talking here about adding more visual effects to our live show and adding some more screens around, and that's all cool and stuff. But what I've always liked about Metallica is that the live sound and the music they're playing stands on its own, regardless of what setting they're in. So you can strip away all those bells and whistles, and you've still got a really electrifying live set at your disposal. And I think that's kind of the number one priority. And it's one of the reasons that a band like this translates well to smaller clubs, because you can just focus on that one element of it. And in my opinion, you still get as intense, a live set as you get at a much bigger place. So, like people said, just kind of paying attention to the details of each of the songs, because there's a lot of people coming to these shows that have been listening to this stuff for years. And it was like Tim said, noticing one detail that's wrong here and there. It's like I'm kind of always pretending that guy is standing right in front and grading my homework. So, yeah, like even if in reality most people there aren't kind of behaving like that, but it's just a way of letting people know I'm kind of serious about, giving them a good show.
Yeah. And the only thing I guess I would add, and it's not in front of, but in parallel with the sound and being particular to, the intricacies of the music, is you got to have the passion for what you're attributing. If any one of us in this band were just kind of casual Metallica fans, we're just okay with it. It would show, right? You would see that at every show. Any one of us, I'll just hypothetically use myself. If I just kind of enjoyed Metallica, it would translate in my playing. But to key in on a point Greg made, when we play at a smaller venue, if there's only 100 people in that crowd, they're getting the exact same energy and excitement as if we were in a 5,000 person crowd, because we are so passionate about what we're doing on that stage. We're passionate about the music that we're playing. We love the music that we're actually playing. We're not just going through the motions. And, we've all seen, whether it's a cover band or another tribute band, we've seen those musicians who have the technical capability, but you can tell that they really aren't truly all that interested in what they're doing. And you won't see that at any of our shows.
Absolutely.
What is your favorite song to play when you guys perform?
So I don't have a song. I have several that are based off of emotion. So favorite song to play, just because it kicks ass to play it, for me, as the drummer, I'm going to say Shortest Straw.
Great song.
The most emotional song, because of the lyrics, is Fade to Black. But the song that I just kind of disappear into, and quite truthfully have almost forgotten I was playing while we were playing it, is Orion.
Oh.
I get trapped into the sound of Tim's bass playing, or when Greg and Mark are doing harmonized guitar parts. I get totally lost in that song, and again, quite literally have almost stopped playing because I forgot I was. So, I guess long-winded answer. Apologize, but you guys feel free.
Yeah, I don't think I could choose one. So top 5-ish in no order: Call of Cthulhu, Orion, To Live Is to Die. It's I know those are all instrumentals, but one and Fixer. I know that's a weird
He just
one.
hates Mark.
Yeah, he does.
Well,
if he likes Fixer, he hates me.
Yeah, Fixer was very. It was important to me when we played it the first time, and it's a shame it's on an album that is somewhat derided. So otherwise, we'd do it more.
I think
also,
we definitely
bonus number 6 would be No Leaf Clover. That one's great.
Yeah, like I can't narrow it down to one song. I love playing Blackened. For some reason, I've never liked the song Wherever I May Roam, but I love playing that live. I don't know why. I think just the crowd response to that's pretty cool when you get them to say some of the parts back to you. Whiplash, I love playing live. Sad But True. I just name all our songs. Let me get a list here. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was thinking of more, and now I'm going. Well, would those be top 5?
Yeah. I don't
Master
know.
of Puppets.
I can't really.
Harvester of Sorrow.
Yeah.
I always like Greg's response to this question.
Leper Messiah. Greg, you go ahead. I'll be quiet.
I don't even know what my answer is yet.
He likes Round and Round.
No, seriously. No, seriously, the gears are still in my head. I mean, I guess the first thing that came to my mind when you asked the question was the name of this damn band, Fade to Black. I mean, it's just one of those just classic build-up songs that kind of really get you. And I the more I play it live, the more I understand why that's the name of this band. It's just kind of one of those ones. Because the answer to the question is like, you guys picked some deep cuts, by the way, as your favorite ones to play live. Like, I did not see that coming. Seriously, my answers are so basic bitch compared to yours. And I think, like, I was gonna say like Creeping Death and Master of Puppets. I mean, and a lot of
that is a good one to do
probably
live.
has to do with the fact that I've played those songs live a lot. What's that?
I said I forgot what I said. It doesn't matter. The listener can rewind and hear what I said.
Okay. No, I mean, I think it's just like the fact that those songs really bring out the energy of the crowd, and just they're the songs that we've honed a lot more. So, I've developed more of a relationship and affinity with those ones after getting so used to it. But there are deeper cuts, definitely. Like Zach said, Shortest Straw. That's one I've always liked playing live because I think the original recording was particularly victimized by the production job it got on the album it was on. So it's nice to be able to put that song out in give it a heavy treatment in a live setting. So I definitely enjoy that one.
A much shorter list would be songs we don't like playing live. Let's do that. No. Invisible Kid.
I Am the Table.
Is that even the name of the song?
It has to be ones we've played before.
What the name of that song is.
Oh.
No, it's not.
So what is something you guys do to prepare yourselves for each gig? Is there some like sort of pre-show ritual that you do? Do you take shots? Do you give high fives? Do you run around the theater or run around outside or run around the block? Or what do you do to help yourselves get mentally prepared for
5 hour energy?
Yeah.
Not a sponsor.
Definitely.
Mark eats fries to get ready for a show, right?
I carb load. And if there's a place that has those rentable scooters, I usually go explore.
That is true.
I enjoy exploring. I love the traveling aspect of the band. So I love kind of like just seeing what each place is about.
I like pacing nervously backstage.
Yeah.
That seems to be my ritual.
Well, and it's funny. So I forget when we started doing it, but if you ever see any of the just moments before Metallica takes the stage, you see the band get together, um, and kind of put their hands in the middle like a sports team. We did that one time, really just as a joke, um, but it turned into at every show we wind up doing it. And it's kind of funny because again, it started out as a joke, but it really does, I think anyway. It pulls all four of us into the center of what we're about ready to get ready to do for the next 2.5 hours, which is kind of another, I guess, unique part of our band. We don't do. I mean, we have done like 70-minute sets, but really that's on the short end. Most of our shows, unless we have a multi-band event, we're doing a 2 to 2.5 hour straight set, no stops.
Wow.
We kick it into high gear, and and again come together as the four nucleus of the band right before we take the stage. While it started out as a joke, it really is helpful. It syncs us, and then we go busting through the door onto the stage, and off we go for 2.5 hours. So it's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Is there anything that you want to say to any of the Metallica fans watching, or your own fans for that matter?
Well, I guess starting with our own fans, just thank you. Thank you for being our fans. And we hope that every show you ever come to, we're doing something new. May not be the whole show, but something. We do take your feedback, especially when it comes to song requests. Most of the time, if you start throwing out saying anger stuff, I'm going to rebel. But, we do listen. As far as the Metallica fans in general, again, just remember, we are fans of Metallica. We're not trying to imitate. We want to put on a good show. We want people to come to see us because they also love Metallica and they just love the music, not to come to our shows to try and compare us to Metallica because that's absurd. There is only one Metallica. I don't care what any other Metallica tribute band tries to say, we're this, that, or the other. There's only one Metallica. So we just ask everybody who comes to the show, join with us in the appreciation of Metallica and rock out with us. That's my part.
Yeah, I mean, we're there to celebrate, not imitate.
Yeah.
That would be the soundbite you want there.
Yeah, perfectly said.
Awesome. Well, it looks like we've got a couple minutes left. I got one last thing to mention. There seems to be a lot of Lars haters out there, and this goes back several years because apparently his abilities have been decreased over time, or at least that's what people think. How do you guys feel about that? I know, Zach, you probably don't care one way or the other that people are talking bad about Lars, and you just know that he kicks ass anyway.
Yeah, I mean, my personal thought, and some of this, Lars has self-admitted, he doesn't really practice. He touches up on songs shortly before they start a tour, or frankly, even the night of the show. Lars is the perfect drummer for Metallica. He's not a Mike Portnoy and or any of these other phenomenally technically gifted drummers, but he's never tried to be. He does do some really unique stuff, especially with accents and just kind of off time stuff that's he kind of drifts away from what the band does for a second and comes back, and I only know that because it fucks me up when I'm trying to learn his stuff.
I think Lux Eterna is a great example of that. It sounds like it was a mistake in the studio, and they kept it, and now you do it.
Yep, but it's kind of like a lot of things nowadays, right? You got to find a reason to hate something, and so people still bust on Lars because of the Napster thing. People who weren't even alive yet during that are busting him for Napster, so it's kind of crazy.
And now they're all over social media.
Right.
Yeah. It's yeah, it was the transition between Justice and the Black Album, like that was a conscious decision by Lars to go simpler.
Mhm.
And that's what everyone points to. Wow, you can't play anymore. You know. But it was a conscious decision.
You know, but I mean at the same time, like Lars is like almost 60, right? And he's still playing over 2 hours a night. You know what I mean? Like that takes skill and just building up that strength over time. Like my hat's off to him. Like I don't know if I'd be able to do that when I'm 60.
Yeah, he's
I'll let you
killing
know
it.
in a few years.
He's killing
Yeah,
it
we'll
for
find
sure.
out.
Yeah, let me know. I'll talk. Yeah, we'll talk about it. No, but it's like I was thinking about this a lot. It's like on recent recordings and stuff. I mean, like I think kind of what like Zach said. He is the perfect drummer for Metallica. I mean, it'd be cool to have some bass drum fills here and there, but I mean, it covers all the bases that it needs for the songs. You know.
No, that's my job.
Yeah. Oh, lead bass.
All right, guys. Well, it looks like we're just about out of time, but I wanted to thank you and to all of our listeners out there or people that are watching at home. All the links to their sites will be down in the description box. Fade to Black, thanks so much for coming on the show, and we will see you guys here in Richmond area in, October, correct?
Yep. Absolutely.
And for all other show dates from Fade to Black, check them out online. Thanks for joining all of us for another episode of That Tribute Band Show. We'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks, Eddie.
Thanks for having us.